Hey guys, so I've been wanting to create a video for a while on how to create a guide for Blade and Sorcery weapons. So I want to update this guide for update 7 so it is easy for you to make mods for the new LWRP update for Blade and Sorcery on the U7 beta. So first what you want to do is you want to get your model. So I got this off Sketchfab and I downloaded it into this zip here. I go into the zip using a program such as 7-zip or WinRAR. I drag the texture and source folders into a separate folder I saved on my drive. And then what I did is I dragged the model file and the textures file into a separate folder called Video Sword in Unity. Now that I have done this, I will drag the model up to Unity, so this little list here. I will right click and I will unpack prefab. Now you guys will have a folder called prefabs here to show the sizing, so it'll give an example dagger. I won't do that because I lost it, so I'm going to use my own dagger as a base size for this weapon. Okay, so I'm going to go into my dagger pack, spawn this, and I'm going to test the size. So I think that the model scale, and you only resize the model, you don't resize the item definition, which we'll get to. I'm going to resize it to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. That should be fine. I'll delete the dagger. So now we have our sword. So we want to do the drop down. Some weapons, some models are just one model. So you'll just drag the texture on. However, it's not. So I'll go into my video sword. I'll click on the model and I will drag the leather albedo up. And it's done it automatically for me, but you'll have to drag the albedo to the base map and then the normal map to the normal map and then click fix now. So now we have that. You can edit the normal map to change its quality. It doesn't look like it's done much here though. So that's done, and then you do the same for cube 1 with the steel. So I haven't done it here, so turn this white, and then I want to drag the steel albedo and then the normal map and fix now. Okay, so now I have my sword. So what I want to do first is I want to right click, create empty, and I want to name this sword video sword, just as a test. And I want to drag the model over video sword, close it, and then get the video sword and add component, item definition, and there we go. Now you have a holder point, a parry point, and a preview. Let's start off with the holder point. So the holder point, this blue arrow points to the floor. The holder point defines sort of like what the weapon looks like on your waist or your back or a rack. So with the holder point first, I'm going to rotate it, make sure that this here is on local, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees down. That means that my handle is going to point to the floor. So I'm going to do it minus 90 to make it so it points to the tip, and then drag it down to the handle because that's where it's going to be on my waist. Now for the parry point, I want to kind of put it in the middle of the weapon because the parry point defines how enemies parry with your weapon equipped. Then for the preview, this blue arrow here points to the to your view. So you want to have it looking away from your weapon. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees on the y-axis, and I'm going to drag it so it looks like this. Now you can edit the size of the preview by increasing the X scale all the way, any scale really, and it'll automatically do it for you. Now that this is done, you want to give the item definition an item ID. So video sword. Now I want to right click on video sword. I want to create empty and I want to add a parry definition. So we'll add a component parry target definition. And there we go. So now I want to scale it. So I will increase its length. It should fit the weapon. So that should be okay. So I'll decrease it slightly. Right now, the center transformation doesn't really work very well with the latest update. However, this will be fixed and you can drag each end. Now, I want to create an empty and I want to create a handle. So I'll create a handle and then a handle definition. Now, this is for the side. So this here should be pointing that way because this is the way that you will be holding your weapon. If you want to two-hand it, make sure the axis length is above 0. So first I want to. And then if you want to hold it normally, you create 4 allowed orientations. One which is rotation 0, 0, 0 with allowed hand both and is default both. And then you want to change the other elements to none, none, and none for the is default. Now for the element 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to make the first element 180 for the y-axis, the second element is for the z-axis 180, and then for the element 3, I will make both the y and the z-axis 180. This means you can hold it in all different types of ways. At the moment, the reach definition is broken. You can't see the gizmo, so I will just calculate reach as it is. Doesn't look like that works. So I'm just going to take an estimate and say it's 0.75. Actually, I'll make it 1. Screw it. Okay, so the handle definition is done. So you do not need to add an interactable ID, so don't worry about that. The touch radius defines how far your hand needs to be to grab it. And this just defines the default grab. So then you want to go back into your item definition and you want to drag the handle to the main handle. Next is the fly reference. So the fly reference, similar to the holder point, the blue points into direction of forward. So for fly reference, I want it so when I throw my weapon with either my hand or my telekinesis, the sword will automatically point in that direction. So I want to make it so my blue arrow points to the tip of the blade. Then I'll go to my item definition and I will add a fly ref into the fly direction reference. Next is colliders. So I will create an empty and I will call it collider blade. This is going to be used as my collider group. So I will create an object under there and I will name it collider1. I will create a box collider and it should look like this. Now I want to edit the collider to make it so it fits the blade of the weapon. So let me do that. For a better view on this, you want to click the square in the axis and it will take you to kind of like a 2D view. So you can see the pin perfect of the colliders. There we go. That should work now. However, I will slightly drag it off to the left and this forward. You can make this more pinpoint, but I am making this basic at the moment. Then I want to add another collider, so I copy paste it and call it collider2. And I will drag it down onto the guard. I will add it to fit the guard. So that should be completely fine, but I will edit it to make it so it fits the blade perfectly. There we go. Okay, so the guard is done. Now I will add another collider, collider3, but this time I won't use a box collider, I will use a capsule collider. Capsule collider is great for round handles. So I'll edit the collider, I'll drag it to the handle, and that should work. Just for your information, yes, colliders can intersect with each other. This won't cause any problems. So, once that is done, you want to edit the collider. So in collider 1, this is the blade collider. So I will want to change the material to blade sword. I will leave as is default off because it should be, otherwise it will break everything. Then I will change the guard to metal and the handle to wooden hard. Wooden hard will make it so you cannot pierce this handle. If it was wood, you could pierce the handle. So I will create a folder in my video sword called assets, and I will drag my model and my textures and my materials into that folder. This is just for safekeeping. You don't really have to do this. Okay, so now that my handles are correct, I will go into Collider Blade, and I will name it Blade. I will add a component which is the collider group, and then I will add another collider group called Collider Blunt, and I will drag the blunt colliders, so these won't be stabbing, these will be doing blunt damage, into the Collider Blunt tab, and the Collider 1 will be under the Collider Blade because it will be doing slash and piercing. So I want Collider Blade to imbue magic to make it so electricity can soar through it, while Collider Blunt I will not add, so I'll add a Collider group to Collider Blunt too. The next thing is damages. So for the damager, I want 3 damages, and must be in order for the weapon to work, unless you want to edit the JSON. So I'll add a pierce definition, a slash definition, and a blunt definition. So these will have to be in order for the weapon to work correctly. So it will be pierce slash blunt. In the pierce, I will add a damager definition, and just for easy keeping, I'll make it 1-1 for now. For the pierce, this line here is the pierce. So I will want to rotate it 90 degrees, or minus 90 degrees. I will put it to the tip of my weapon, just slightly above, and it'll fit that perfectly. I wouldn't edit the point-to-point transform at the moment because it is currently broken. So I will do it normally. So I will add a collider group, which will be Collider Blade, and then I will set the penetration length to 0 and the depth to fit the weapon. There we go. So as you can see, that's the depth. And then I want to set the direction to forward. Now I want to add slash. So the slash damage definition 1-1. This looks like it already fits the blade, which is perfect. So I will do that. I'll fit it the blade, and then I'll make the depth very, very small. So I will make it 0.003. And the penetration length should stay the same. You can either set the direction to all, you can set it to forward and backwards, and then the collider group will be Collider Blade. Now for the blunt, which is the handle, I just want one damager definition. So I'll add another damager definition. I'll set the collider group to Collider Blunt, and that's it. I do not need to add anything to the penetration length and depth, but I will drag it down to the handle for easy keeping. Okay, so it looks like everything is done. The collider groups fit, and the damager definitions are correct. If you've made any mistakes, there should be errors, such as this one here. It says direction for slicing should be set to forward or forward and backward. You don't have to agree with that, because I don't. But for pierce, it's recommended you use forward, otherwise the blade will be glitchy. Now to make this beautiful for me, I'm just going to make it so it's slightly metallic, and the smoothness is set up. This looks shinier in game. Then I will make the handle albedo, and that should work perfectly fine. Okay, so I will not test this weapon out in game, but I will show you how to create a JSON. So, to start off with, you want to drag your video sword down into your new folder. Then, you want to click on Asset Bundle, you want to click New. It shouldn't let you type in, so what you want to do is you want to click on it again, and then click New again, and it should work. So I'll name this Video Sword. Now you've assigned it a asset bundle. Do not worry about these colliders, this is a bug. So with the video sword, you want to click on Blade and Sorcery, Mod Configuration. Now before you do this, you want to go into your Streaming Assets folder, and you want to create a new folder. So here I will click New, Add New Folder, and I will name it Video Sword. Now that I've done that, I will go into another mod, I will copy its manifest.json, I will paste it, and then I will edit it to fit my own information. And then the mod version, so it's version 1, and the game version, it will fix update 7. This is important, as Vortex does not like out-of-date versions. I will save it, and now let's go on to the real part. So, now I'm in mod configuration, because I've done it a bit early, I'm going to close it out, and I'm going to go back into it. So now that I've done that, I will click on Video Sword, New Weapon, and it'll bring up to this. I want to select a base item for the sword, which I will use Sword 1. Now I should come up with this. So first off, I'm going to do is I'm going to change the file name. So I'm going to change it to Video Sword. This has to be unique and cannot fit any other weapon that has been made, otherwise it will conflict. So make it unique like I do drags Video Sword. Then I will get my item and I will drag it up to prefab. Now sadly the item JSON builder is broken on my build and should be fixed soon. So what I will do is I will instead go back, go into Asset Bundle Builder, and I will target the mod Video Sword to Video Sword, and then export asset bundles to their respective mod folders, and click Build Asset Bundles. Now, once this is finished, I'll go into Video Sword, I'll go into Streaming Assets, I'll go into Items, and I will copy the Sword 1 JSON, go back into Streaming Assets, and paste it here. Then rename it to Video Sword. Just remember, in later versions, the JSON builder inside the mod inside Unity will be fixed, but right now it won't be. So the ID I'm going to change to unique, so it drags Video Sword. I'm going to change the name to whatever, change the description to whatever. It all depends on what you want. So the text shows what the weapon is called. The description will display what is in the book, and then the author will be you. Then for the storage category, set it to what it is. So if it's an axe, a blunt weapon, whatever, you change it here. And then the prefab name, which should be done automatically in the item changer, but if not, it'll be the name of your asset bundle. So it will be @videosword, which is down here. And then it will be a colon and the name of your weapon. So it'll be video sword and then .prefab. You can edit and mess with the mass and drag if you very wish, but you don't really need to. Now you come down to the bottom. The pierce, the slash, and the hunt blunt must be in that exact order. Since this is already the base, this will work fine. Now that this is done, I will save it. I'm going to Video Sword, and that should be it. Now I'm going to test the weapon in game. I hope this works. If it doesn't, then I will end the video here. But if it does, awesome. Okay. So there is a chance that this will break my graphics card, or at least crash it, as it always does when I'm recording, which is why I can't record. Okay, so once this loads up, I'm currently sitting down, so it may bug out a bit. So let's wait for this to load. So it does take its time to load. So I'm a bit small right now, which is quite funny. So look at me, look how small I am, that's hilarious. So, I will go upstairs to my weapon, and I will select it. So let me just find it. Give me a moment while I find it. If I find it, that is. As I have a lot of weapons, it's hard to find the one that I'm currently trying to use. So it looks like I can't find it. Let me just have a look why. This is the best way to look at it, by the way. So this game goes by a method of sometimes not loading assets because other assets break. But that's because the purchasable is false. Let me set that to true. This makes it so you can get it in-game. So set that to true. However, I'm going to use the console. Oh, I can't. So let me restart the game. Sorry for that noise. That happens whenever I close the game for some reason. I do apologize of that. Okay. So, while I load in, which takes a while all the time, and I load in, I will go to the book upstairs. Sorry if the sound sounds weird in this game. I don't know why it does that. There's my sword right here, and it should work perfectly. So yeah, this should work perfectly. I can dual wield it, and it should pierce pretty well. So, that is my weapon design video. I hope you enjoy making your own mods. And yeah, I hope everything goes well for your mod creation process. If you run into any issues or I've missed something, please let me know either in the comments or in Discord. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.